I guess welcome to Michigan for the people that haven't been here before. I am up in the northern part of Michigan. If we can, I guess we can see that. This kind of small print down here, but that's Detroit down here. I live up in the northern part of Michigan. It's a resort area where everybody comes to play, and I get to live here. And great place to live, and we love it here. Um, I see I slowed my pace down a little bit. It gives me a nice clean cut. It's left behind because I want to take a good look at this wood and make some decisions on my design. Okay, let's move over here a bit, get you in the middle of the screen. All right, we can zoom into now. All right, in this case, I got the pith already in here, right? So the chainsaw cut just went the other side of the pith, so I can see the pith on that side, but I can't see the pith on this side. It's gone. So I'm going to take these lines here and try to, yep, you can see that, and try to visualize where the pith is. I'd say the pith would be right about here where the pencil is. If I make those circles smaller and smaller, there's another one right here, right? So if I take this line and this line and this line, there's a chance that this line here is the same as this line here, right? All right, so my first goal is that when I have my bowl sitting on the table, that pith is parallel to the table, that it's not crooked. If the pith is parallel to the table, those annual rings are going to radiate down into the bowl nice and balanced, and that's what I'm after here, is a balanced grain in the bottom of my bowl. So I'm going to try to see if we can do it with this. Here we go. I'll put my pencil here. All right, so now I can touch that arrow here on this side and go over here, and ooh, look at there. I'm amazed. I wouldn't have guessed that from this piece of wood. I'm only maybe 1/8 of an inch off between one side and the other. It's this one versus this one. Oh, about 1/8 of an inch off. Well, that's not enough to move. If that pith was now crooked, I could tilt this, right, to make that pith parallel to the table. So that's the first thing I looked at, the pith. I don't have to move it, but I could have. All I need to do is loosen up the tailstock and move it a little bit, tighten it back up again, and true it back up again. I move it small increments. Make my marker here. That's where the pith is on this side of it. And this is where the pith is on this side of it. Okay. So now if we can sight down there, we can see, that sucker's almost right in the middle, isn't it? What if my drive center and first positioning was over here and the pith was not in the center? Okay. Now I've done two things by looking at this. I've got the pith parallel to the table, and it's in the center of the bowl. If it was over here, I could move the whole bowl over. All right? People, we can make a smaller bowl and make it look better, okay? We can waste away a little bit of wood. It'll only hurt for a little while. This stuff grows on trees, so if we find something wrong with our positioning, we can change it and make it perfect. So now we've got two things done that are going to make that grain perfectly balanced in the bottom of our bowl. So the third thing that I would look at is a color character. Let me zoom out a little bit here. A lot of times if you have walnut, cherry, many of the woods that we work with, they have a fruitwood, heartwood contrast. And you've got a different color character to deal with. Now when we do that, that color is going to come down here and come across here like this. You can see that, yep. And it'd come down here and come across here like this. Right? So we would have 2 spots of white wood at the rim of our bowl. Now, what if that isn't balanced? What if I got a 1/2 inch of white wood here and 1 inch of wood over here? I could move the whole thing over a little bit and make the color balanced. Now, I may or may not change the grain balance a little bit, but what's more important? Who's in control? I can change the grain, I can change the color, I can use, again, a fault or a flaw that I might want to position. If I had a woodpecker hole here that I wanted to be right in the rim of our bowl, I could tilt it over a little bit to make sure that was right in the rim of our bowl if I wanted it. So who's in control? We're going to work on this and get something special out of it. If you like the kind of teaching I do and the details that I get into, come back and see me again. Do me a favor, if you will, and talk about this on your Facebook page or to your club members. Put it in your newsletter that this stuff is available for a real reasonable price, and even the vendor showcase, even free events that we do, and point them in our direction. There's a lot of us that are doing this, Cindy and Todd and many of us around the country that are doing these remote demos, and so the resources there, that there's a lot of learning and a lot of fun, a lot of entertainment to be seen and watching people turn and do their thing. And there's so many different methods and techniques that you can never get tired of watching it. So promote it on your social media, if you will, and pass the good word that we're doing the job up here, and we'll see you in a few weeks.